Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a weekly message from Jesus. Each week, we bring you a channeled message from our Lord. They're always spectacular, and they're always the pathway to the light. So I know that our Father is here, and He is waiting to speak. So let us begin. Yes, good morning, everyone. As you know, I enjoy being able to speak with you each week. I appreciate those of you who take time to listen to my words each week. And I know that many of you do your best to pass them on to others. Why do you think there are people that refuse to listen to you? Well, obviously the free will thing, I created that. And that's never going to go away because that is what will determine the future for humans, is their free will. But what are the circumstances that go into people not listening? For many of them, it's how they were raised. Now, there are many, many incredibly beautiful families, individuals that teach their children of me, but there are also many that don't. Especially in the inner cities, you see many people that are having such a difficult time making a living. The fathers abandon the mothers and leave them to raise the children. The women have to work several jobs in order to pay the bills. So the children often are left on their own, and they rely on their peers. And sadly, the peers that they're relying on, many of them are in the same situation as those children are. So the peers lead them astray from me because they say, why would you ever believe in something you cannot see, cannot touch, cannot feel? It's not real. Now, many of them are poorly educated for the same reasons. The poor neighborhoods, they often don't get the good teachers because teachers don't want to work there. Many of the children are very difficult to teach, so it's too much of a challenge for them. So what can you do about situations like that? Well, one thing is eliminate cost of living increases that drive them away from being able to pay the bills. Supply high-priced jobs for them, not high price, but jobs where they can make a decent living and still have time with their children. The governments, they're the ones that let all this take place. They let the inner cities degenerate. The politicians lie to the people that live there. They tell them they're going to help them, but then generations go by and no help takes place. So it's very difficult. But there are things that you could do. You can work with charities that go into the area, volunteer at schools, volunteer at shelters. There are many things that you can do to help the people in the poor areas. Perhaps the best example I can give you of what can be accomplished is Mother Teresa. She went into the poorest areas of Calcutta and made a difference. It was incredibly difficult for her. But there were others that listened to her words and felt that they also wanted to dedicate their lives to helping the poor. There are individuals, and I tell you this almost every week, those of incredible wealth that don't use any of it to help others. There's always more that people with great wealth can do. Many of them have charities, but they don't really support them. They don't give as much as they could. They think that their wealth is this great scorecard. But what they don't realize is that their true scorecard, the one that influences their soul life, they're failing on. They're getting an F. And when they get back, they will be put at a level among other people that have failed as well. I know that many of you are so frustrated with your lives, and many instances, you cannot be blamed for the frustrations. There's so much that's out of your hands, but there's so much that really is in the decisions that you can make. You can always participate of all my natural miracles, my mountains, my streams, the ocean. Go put your feet into the ocean. Feel the wet sand around you. Look at the magnificence of that ocean, of the power that it's capable of. The oceans are capable of feeding the world with the fish that live within it. But if humans keep polluting the ocean, then that food source will slowly diminish, and it'll be difficult for people to feed their families. Today, you're facing other emergencies. The oil crisis, the price of gasoline. There are many people who on tight budgets that are having trouble putting gas in their cars now, making it difficult for them to get to work so that they can earn the income to pay their bills, to maintain a roof over their heads for them and their families. The price of oil, that is being created by war. War is a terrible thing. I don't want wars in my world. I don't want wars to affect my humans. You see, humans are very susceptible to dying. They're actually quite delicate creatures. They have many illnesses. And when wars come, they're terrible. Today in Russia, they're losing almost 30, 35, 40,000 of their men per month. How long can you keep this up? These young men, they will not be around for the future. Russia needs them. They need their intelligent youth. They need a work base to pay taxes. They're heading down a road of total destruction because they're choosing to wage war instead of doing what they need to do for their people. There are many other countries like that. North Korea. Do you realize the terrible standard of living for the people so that their dictator can have the rockets that he wants, the army that he wants, so that they can all agree with him and never disagree? There are many, many instances I can give you. China. China looks like they're a very, very prosperous country, but the people, the standard of living there is not what it should be. Any country that spends huge amounts of money on military is creating a problem for the future, because those funds could be used to pay down debt, to help people, to do all the things that make the future possible and easier for the people. Sounds like I'm getting on my soapbox again, and there are times that I really, really feel strongly about what is taking place with my humans. All I want is for humans to advance. There are great civilizations in my galaxy I want them to learn to live with, to be at peace with. Many of the advanced civilizations are afraid to come near and help Earth because all they do is wage war. The great civilizations that I created through time have all come to realize that war is terrible, that it's a method of self-destruction. Why would you want to create something that destroys yourself? But yet humans throughout the time that I've been with them on Earth, a couple 100,000 years, all they have done is find more powerful weapons to kill more people. I wish that each human would just step back and look at the words that I speak. I say, don't do anything that you don't want done to yourself. Well, how can you wage war when you don't want to be killed in war? I guess maybe the answer is this. Maybe if we required all of the leaders to fight on the battlefront, there would be no war, because they truly would fear for their lives and they would know that they're making a terrible mistake. But as long as they have the power to send the young to war and not suffer any real threats, I guess they think that they're doing what they should do because it builds up their personal power. But what it really does, it may build their personal power for a couple of years, But when they return to my heaven, they're going to be told the fools that they were. The people that believe that they have the greatest powers on this planet, they're actually some of the largest fools that walk the earth because they don't know how to use the power. Political power should be used to help the people. It's a pretty simple relationship. If that took place in all the countries, there'd be no war. The people would be living at peace. Many of the politicians and leaders, dictators, they lie to the people. They tell them all the time that their neighbors should be hated. I always sit and I speak that you should love everyone. These people have no love in their hearts. Those that teach hatreds, that lie. If you went to Iran, you would hear them say, death to Israel, death to Americans, death to Christians. All it's going to do is bring death to themselves, because the more advanced countries, the ones that are Jewish, are Christians, they're the ones, they're going to react because maybe they don't want to be killed. Maybe they don't want their countries to be destroyed. Religious fanaticism. We're seeing that in many countries today. I'm so sorry that people use religion and make a foundation to wage war out of it. When I walked the earth, I never spoke of waging war to kill people. I always said you must show love. If you show love, you'll join me in heaven. If you live a good life, you'll join me in heaven. It's one of the most simple relationships I could say. There were many people, as I say often, that did not appreciate my message. You saw what happened to me. It didn't go well. I wound up on a cross and I suffered greatly, but I had to do this. I had a reason for everything in my life. I knew that I had to die in a way that was remembered. And then I did the resurrection thing. I resurrected from the grave, the greatest miracle that ever happened on this planet. It took place when I died on the cross, and it will never take place again. Humans have access to all the information they need to live a good life. I bring you words every week, but people refuse to listen. I know how frustrated those of you out there are that are trying to pass on the words that Barry speaks. He only speaks the truth. If somebody would ever take time to listen, they would truly understand the beauty of the messages that I bring, the simplicity, the argument that I give you to choose the way of God. Everyone can do it. I tell each of you, when you get up in the morning, look in the mirror and see if you're pleased with yourself. See if you're doing all that you can to follow me, to bring others to me. It's so simple. Self-contemplation. I tell you to go into the woods and sit and listen to the birds and focus on what you can do to help others. Because when you're doing this, you're helping yourself. You're showing yourself the path to true happiness. You're showing yourself the path to when your time comes to have no fear, because you know you're returning to heaven. You know that you're returning to the greatest miracle that was ever created. Now, I just told you my resurrection was the greatest for the planet, but heaven is the greatest for my galaxy. It's a much greater miracle. So everything is relative. I did my best to show humans what was needed. I did my best to tell them that they simply live a good life, and they will know the path to eternal happiness, to joining me in heaven. And that is where eternal happiness is. Your soul's had eternal energy. It's been around since creation. It's been on many different places. It's resurrected many times. I meant to say reincarnate, I'm sorry. But I've used the term resurrection for what you can do to change your soul. So sometimes words are interchangeable, but you understand that my resurrection was not something you can do. Your soul goes to heaven. You've lived many lives. You've created many karmas in those lives. Those karmas affect what takes place in your life today. And the way you live today will create karmas that affects your future lives. If you live a great life, you will have a great future life. If you harm others and live a terrible life, your life in the future will certainly not be as good as it would have been if you lived a good life. I keep telling you to simply do your best. That's all I can expect of you. I did my best. I had many failures. Many people walked away from me. So I failed, even though I did my best and I was God. You're not God, but you can do your best and you will have failures and you must walk away from them. As long as you're doing your best to serve me, all will be well. You have nothing to fear. Your fear only comes when you walk away from the words that I speak. And I don't want you to ever fear me. God is to be loved. The life of Jesus is to be loved. Fear is something I do not want you to know. I want you to fear maybe living a bad life, because that is going to not let your life in heaven be as spectacular as it could be. The church came up with the concept of fear in religion and faith. They said if you don't listen to what the church says, you're going to hell. Well, they created hell. You cannot find anywhere that I spoke of a hell, a burning place where people would be tortured. I knew the Romans tortured people. I could have used fear. I could have used similes, but I did not do it. I only wanted you to look at the bright side of things. As long as you look at the positive side of my messages, of my words, the positive side of what you can do to your life, you'll have a great life. Now, many people, the situations today that are affecting them, what is causing the problems in their lives, much of it's out of their control because government has grown so great and so powerful. But in your own circle of the world, the area in which you live, there's still so much you can do. Everyone you interact with, like, you can make a great blessing upon them. You can help people. You can do just the little things. I know most of you listening are having trouble paying your bills. I'm not asking that you give your money to take away from what you need to live. But if you have excess money that is not required for your standard of living, to raise your family, to have a home, to do all the things that I want you to do, then you can contribute it and use it to help others. Give it directly to shelters. You can go down and see the good that they're doing. The people that run those shelters, they are some of the most incredible volunteers on the face of the earth today. They are doing the same thing Mother Teresa did. They are dedicating their life to those that do not have the quality of living that they should have. They're doing what they can to simply help people to exist. That's what Teresa did. That's what we sent her back to do. Many of you are doing exactly what we sent you back to do. You are following my words and trying to bring people to my teachings. Many are turning away from you as they turned away from me. You are disappointed. I was disappointed. When I was a human, I felt all of the emotions that humans felt. I suffered grief. I had a daughter die. I suffered love. I had a family, a wife, a mother, a father, all of the things that all of you have. I watched people that I love pass from this earth, and I knew they were going to heaven. So while I felt personal grief, in my heart, I had great joy because I knew they had returned home. And I knew that I would soon be joining them. And that when I got there, I would make things so much better for them. So life can be very complicated, or it can be relatively simple. Please don't complicate your lives. Just do the simple things. Show love. Don't show anger to others. Don't show hatreds. When you show hatred, people hate you back. And then that's going to bring you unhappiness. Most people don't want to be hated. Now, yeah, there are some fools out there that don't care. But I want you to live this simple life of helping others. That's all I ask. What could be more simple for you or easier to do? Many of you are truly doing it. And I bless each and every one of you that listen to my words and help to do this. Don't complicate your lives. Just follow the simple messages that I give you. There will be hardships, there will be pain, there will be suffering, there will be grief. But my words will help you through all of these things. When one closest to you dies, that spirit of that soul will still be near you. You'll be joining them in heaven. It's only a temporary time that you will not be with them. So go forth. Honestly believe the words that I speak and do your best to bring them to others. That's all you can do. So I want you all to have an incredibly blessed week. I want to thank you for all that you do for listening. So today, I spoke about simplicity. Keep that in your mind as you contemplate this week. Goodbye, and have a wonderful, blessed week. I never know what he's going to say. I know there are people that think I read all this, but I truly don't. If any of you do think that, I would be more than happy to put some money in a pot. You put money in a pot, and I'll hire an attorney to come here and listen. If I don't read a word, I get the money. If I read a word, you can have the money. That's how confident I am, because I know what I do. So goodbye. Thank you so much. We'll be back with you Friday night on Pathways to Knowledge. I think we're going to have the Prophet Muhammad on this week. There's a very good chance of it. Join us. I think you might learn a lot about the wonderful Islamic faith. Goodbye, and thank you so much once again for listening.